Wamakim, of course, called Haloyim, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, a great millstone that rule and teach as well. Peace and shalom to the Akim out there and the elect, which the elect consists of the men, women, and children selected to make it out of here from the coming nuclear destruction. All right. I'm the brother Zayan Olive, the DC camp, coming at you with another video. It's going to be a rather quicker video than I'm used to making, because every video doesn't have to be long, but it's straight to the point. Why are American police training in the land of Israel? Okay, why the title I have, why are the Adebisi hats training the U.S. police? The Adebisi hats. When you know anything about that show Oz, Adebisi, it's that Jake that was always wilding. Let me see. You see, and he always had this little ass hat on his head. So you know that reference if you are in the know. You hear a lot of brothers say the little hats or the small hats. He always had this little ass hat on his head. That's why I'm calling them the Adebisi hats. Okay, so why are these Adebisi hats, training the American police? Okay, why are they training the American police? So you can see right here it says the thin blue line flag of American police combined with the Israeli flag. You see that? Combined with the Israeli flag. You see? So Israel is actually training different police in America. As a matter of fact, now let me go to this video. All right. Like I said, this was not going to be long. It's just showing you what they're doing. This all helps to play into prophecy. Not only do the United States military, of course, play into it, but remember, all these people are trained by other people. You see that? All right. So guess what? When the time of martial law, when you get to a man should desire to go into a city and should not be able, and martial law in the scriptures, how do you think that's going to be conducted? It's going to be conducted not just by the military. You're going to have the police in America militarized. You see, you're going to have them militarized, right? And guess what? They're getting proper training from overseas. Okay, learning all types of stuff. It all plays into it. All right, so let me go ahead and just play this video. You see.
U.S. law enforcement. Did you know Israeli forces train U.S. law enforcement? By now, you've seen footage of violent campus crackdowns against anti-genocide student protesters in many cities, including New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and Atlanta. What the f*** is wrong with you? And you
notice the cities that they called off, what she just called off? Some of the major cities in America, man. Let's go ahead and play that again. And bear with me.
Have in common members of Boston, Washington, D.C. protesters in many cities, including New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and Atlanta. What the f*** is wrong with you? And you know what else these cities have in common? Members of their law enforcement agencies have trained in Israel. Since the 90s, thousands of U.S. law enforcement officials, from police all the way up to FBI and ICE, have trained in Israel or with Israeli forces in the U.S.
These exchanges are allowing for a mutual learning and exchange around tactics of state violence and control.
We're seeing that reflected today, with officers behaving like an occupying force, decked out in riot gear, riding tactical vehicles, and firing rubber bullets and flashbang devices to clear out students' Palestine solidarity encampments. Here's how police cracked down at Emory University in Atlanta.
Why are you doing this?
Every chief of the Atlanta Police Department.
Now, it's funny because we heard about these different crackdowns that these different police and departments had on these colleges when it came to protesting in the land of Israel, what they were doing in Israel to the Palestinians. So we heard about these police crackdowns on these different college campuses, but this video right here is actually showing different snippets of what they was actually doing. It was actually effing them students up, man. They were effing them up that came in opposition to Israel, man. And when you look at it, the scripture says all things are two and two. As a matter of fact, for edification's sake, Let me look for that in the Apocrypha. 2 and 2. One against the other. And Salakia, I had to get this, Sirach 33 and 15. I'll show you how to get it in Google real quick so I can find it fast, right? So let me get Sirach 33 and 15. Sirach 33 and verse 15. And it says, so look upon all the works of the Most High. You see, everything's controlled by Yahweh Shemel Shai. Okay, everything. Okay, there's nothing done on the planet Earth that's not controlled by Yahweh Shemel Shai. So look upon all the works of the Most High. And there are 2 and 2, one against the other. And I bring this out because who's the top of the tribes when it comes to the 12 tribes? Okay. Who's the top of the tribes when it comes to the 12 tribes? Okay. The top of the tribes are who? Judah. Okay. Judah is the top of all the 12 tribes. That's the line of the kings, so to speak. You have King Solomon, King David, going all the way down to Yahushua, and that's what the Lord have made it. Now, we know that Judah is short for what? I mean, not Judah short. Jew is short for Judah. Okay? Now, if you have a group of people that's claiming to be us, who do you think the top of their nation would be, of their tribes would be? Because Esau has tribes as well. It's not just one tribe with Esau. He has different dukes as well. All right? So when you go to, let me see, Isaiah, the 1st chapter, it says, this is Isaiah 1 and verse 7. It says, your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence. And it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. Our land is the land of Israel. Our country, our home is the land of Israel. And is overthrown by strangers. You see that? All right? Because we got moved out of that land. When the scripture says, thou shalt see it no more again, that's our homeland. We got taken out of there. We got put into hardcore bondage, and we got put into a state of servitude. We serve over here in America. It hasn't stopped. We still are slaves. Okay, is this an illusion that we're not? Okay, do you think they had chains on us in the ancient world when we were in different captivities? The Greeks and the Romans and stuff like that, the Medo-Persians, the Babylonians. Okay, we wasn't always in chains, physical chains with them. We roamed about, but guess what? They ruled over us. Okay, just because you're not in hardcore slavery with actual physical chains doesn't mean you're not a slave. Okay, all right. These people are ruling over us. All right. It says your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land, strangers devour it in your presence. We were supposed to be in that land of Israel serving Yahweh Shemel Shai, but instead we didn't do that. We got casted out of our land. Okay. All right. The Lord took his eyes off of us. Okay. He turned his face from us. Therefore, that allowed the heathen to come and snatch us up and take us to hardcore bondage. And then what did they do? They took over our land. And then they called themselves us and called us them. They called us Goyim. They call us Goyim, okay? And calling themselves Judah. They call themselves Benjamin. They call themselves Levi. In their mind, they say Levi. They're calling themselves us, okay? They're straight imposters, right? That's why I read earlier, all things are 2 and 2. So if the head tribe is Judah, who do you think the head tribe of the Edomites would be? Amalek. Amalek are the so-called Adebisi hats today. All right, straight up. All right, and what do you think they're doing? They always have their hand in America, i.e., not just money monetarily. They're also training American police. Let me go back to this video. Because the sound keeps.
Every chief of the Atlanta Police Department and many other officers throughout the state of Georgia have participated in Israeli trainings. In fact, Atlanta's Georgia State University hosts an organization that sponsors Israeli police exchanges. Atlanta's former police chief even admitted his city's controversial surveillance cameras were modeled off what he saw during a training in Jerusalem. Then there's what went down at Boston's Emerson College.
Going to jail?
Members of the Boston Police Department have also trained in Israel. Washington, D.C. police used pepper spray on students protecting Georgia.
Even that camera system, I want to go back to that. Even that camera system that they have is modeled after camera systems over in the land of Israel and Jerusalem. And you know what? That while they have that up, a lot of times they have that up in direct opposition of the Palestinians. Okay? And the terror that they put on the people of Palestine. Okay, I'm not rooting for them. I'm not saying in their defense. I'm just saying what's going on in the world. Okay, because really, ultimately, look, everybody's goddamn confused. To be a Palestinian means you have to be a Philistine. Those people, the Arabs over there, are not the real Philistines. Even they're lost. That's not their land. Okay, it's not their land. It's not the Amalekites, Edomites' land. It's not the Philistines' land. It's Israel's land, the real Israelites. So everybody's jacked up. Okay? But, they modeled, their police cameras and systems based off of what's in Jerusalem. You see this thing. Okay? When you see what's in Jerusalem, it's modeled to what? Watch over and against those Palestinians and put a terror on them. So this stuff is made to put terror on the U.S. citizens. Okay?
His city's controversial surveillance cameras were modeled off what he saw during a training in Jerusalem. Then there's what went down at Boston's Emerson College.
Going to jail?
Members of the Boston Police Department have also trained in Israel. Washington, D.C. police used pepper spray on students protecting George Washington University's encampment. Top officials within that department have traveled to Israel for training. So have members of the California Highway Patrol, which fired rubber bullets at UCLA students. And then there's the NYPD, which responded to Columbia's student encampment and occupation of Hamilton or Hins Hall like this. The NYPD is deeply connected to Israel. Many of its top cops have traveled to Israel over the past 20 years. Remember the NYPD spying program that targeted Muslims after 9/11? That was inspired in part by what officials saw the Israelis doing in the occupied West Bank. And the trips to Israel continue. NYPD officers were even there for a training on October 7th. And get this, the Columbia associate professor who helped direct the NYPD raid, she also heads up the NYPD counterterrorism unit, which actually has an office in Tel Aviv.
Why do you think Israel is so attractive to U.S. law?
Yeah, because counterterrorism. Yeah, because pretty soon the face of terrorism is going to be somebody who's out of order in the U.S. Remember when you go to serve in the United States military, when you go to swear in, you swear to defend against all enemies, what? Foreign and domestic. That domestic part is coming to America real soon. So a lot of these different trainings and things of this nature is set up to what? Battle people here in America. They made movies off of this stuff, man. Different types of movies. You had Children of Men. You have that's one type of movie. You have the new movie Civil War. Okay, they're setting these different things up to what? Fight against the citizens in America. You will be looked at as the terrorist if you are not compliant. Okay, this plays into the MOTB being released. This plays into the martial law. Man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. This plays into those prophecies. Okay, counterterrorism divisions, counterterrorism. Okay, they're being trained. The police are being trained for that. See all these different people popping up as so-called terrorists around the U.S. All that's a front for what? To really get at the people in the U.S. And that time is coming. That hardcore time is coming when they're going to focus on the enemy's domestic. Don't forget they got all those what is that? The FEMA. What's the FEMA thing? What is it? 564 FEMA camps. Let me see if I can find that. think it's FEMA 564. And this is stuff our apostles and elders always went through for years. What's this? I could be wrong. Forgot what that was called. They say conspiracy theory, but there is a HR. There is a HR. I don't know if it says it here, but there is a HR FEMA camp, if I'm not mistaken, like HR 564, some crazy thing like that. Let me see. House of Representatives, HR 645. Let's try that. It's been a while. 645. Look, National Emergency Centers Establishment Act. You see that? National Emergency Centers Establishment Act. HR 645. Let me go to it. All right. To direct the Secretary of Homeland Security to establish national emergency centers on military installations. Okay. Establishment of national emergency centers. There's different types of emergency centers, so-called, all throughout America. Still, what about all those places that have them giant coffins that put multiple bodies in? What about those places that have the barbed wire fences facing in, and not the other way to keep things out, to have it facing in to keep people in if they try to escape? Okay, remember, all these things play into what's to come. Okay, why are counterintelligence and military members in Israel training American police? Why? So they can be more militarized against the citizens. See, this all plays into it. It all plays into it. All right? It plays into it. You see, let's go back to that video. All right?
State violence, there's a real natural attraction and a desire to trade tactics. These exchange programs are lifting up the Israeli occupation as a global gold standard for policing.
Now, make no mistake, American police have always been violent well before Israel came into existence in 1948. But these police exchanges, which ramped up significantly after 9/11, also legitimized the use of mass surveillance and racial profiling, all tactics Israel has mastered. So what exactly happens on these trips? For one, U.S. officials meet and train with high-ranking officials in the Israeli police, military, intelligence, and government. They also attend seminars, do ride-alongs, and visit military checkpoints and prisons, hallmarks of Israel's system of apartheid that systematically subjugates Palestinians.
You're supposed to protect them!
Today, we're seeing a generation of American college students risking everything to demand their universities and their complicity with Israel.
And you got stupid Americans screaming they're supposed to protect us. No, they're supposed to protect the interests of this corporation called America. They're not here to serve and protect you. They're here to protect, serve, and protect the interests of this corporation that this place is. It's a corporation. That's all this country is, man. All right? It pays to listen to men of the Lord. Okay, we've been taught this coming up, and we see it. Not only are you taught it, then you're actually starting to actually see it. Okay? And then you can speak on it for yourself. Let's see.
Against the Palestinian people. They should not be on the receiving end of the violence they're protesting against.
That's right, Isaiah 30:1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord. It says, who take counsel, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin. Verse 2, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. So certain things are twofold. Back then, it was Israel actually going to Egypt for help against the who? The Assyrians. Okay? It was a weakened Egypt at this point, but after that great fall in Egypt, after we passed through the Red Sea, Egypt never rose to a top power anymore. Although you had instances of power here and there, they never was great like they used to be. All right. So it was instances when it still happened back then, but all things are two and two. This scripture is twofold. It's talking about war to them and will go down to Egypt. What's the new Egypt today? The new Egypt today is America. I just said that in my previous video. The new Egypt, Egypt meaning a house of bondage, the new house of bondage today, okay, is America. And these people walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. It says, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. It says, verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. By you thinking that you're going to get help from Egypt is going to be to your downfall. If you follow the ways of Egypt and study Yahweh Shem Shai, being an Israelite is going to be your downfall. Okay? They're already training troops and police to what? To be militarized against the average U.S. citizen. Okay? All right? All we have is Yahweh Shem Shai. We put our trust in Yahweh Shem Shai. He is our fortress. He is our strong tower. Okay? Let me get that scripture real quick. All right? We don't put our trust in Egypt. We put our trust in Yahweh Shem Shai. Because the times that come is going to be nuts. They're being trained. Now, again, not only are they being trained by the U.S. military, of course, because you have that as well, but guess what? They're being trained tactics from overseas, from Israel. Why Israel, all places? Okay? Because the Amalekites run the world. They're the top of the Edomites. When it says, I shall be like the Most High, who's at the very helm of that? When the Edomites think that they should be as the Most High, who's at the very top of that within their tribe, within their nation? The Amalekites. Okay? So everything is being ran through the Adebisi hats. All right? This is Proverbs 18 and verse 20. And man's Salakia, not 18 and 20. No, 18 and 10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. All right. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Straight up. All right. Our tower, we don't run to Egypt for help. We run to Yahweh Shem Shai. And how can you run to a place that's going to be designed to destroy you? The overall outcome for you following the ways of Egypt or America is death. That's the overall outcome. All right. Again, I didn't want this to be too long. I just wanted to put that video up, just showing you that the American police are being trained by the Israel military, the Israeli military. All right. And it plays into future things like martial law and things to come. All right. Kol Haloyim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kal Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and shalom to the elect. As always, double shalom. Them damn Adebisi hats.